I had a hidden agenda, but he stole my thunder. I was just wondering whether I could find someone to give me some counselling in regards to that decision on Sunday night. It was very, very difficult to take. And of course, the other trauma I have today is whether or not they'll find a pair of overalls big enough to fit me. So I'm a mess at the moment. I absolutely am. Actually, Friday, every year, Laurie Daly, who was a teammate of mine at Canberra, organises a harbour cruise for any Raiders players that can make it down on Friday. And of course, a few of us did, and we had a 4-hour cruise around the river, and we went under the bridge and everything. It's a magnificent structure. But one of the things I did notice was that a lot of the teammates we don't see for quite a long time, and a lot of them were asking, are you okay? How are things going in your life? And I think that is a result of what we're doing here today, trying to get that message out that was not spoken about when I was certainly playing rugby league in the late 80s and through the 90s. I mean, I would hear comments like, take a teaspoon of concrete and harden up, go to bed with a mirror and wake up to yourself, this sort of thing. So there was no sympathy when you felt as though, things were getting fairly tough. And of course, it did at times. I mean, the pressure on a professional sports person to perform at the highest level, week in, week out, certainly takes a toll. And I'm really privileged and happy to be here to hopefully, progress the talk and the conversation we have around mental illness. I mean, what young people and old people like myself, I retired, I was turning 35 when I retired, and all of a sudden I woke up one morning. In fact, it was the morning, well, I didn't wake up, I was still celebrating, but my last game was the 99 grand final here where the mighty Melbourne Storm beat St George. But when I finished partying and finished celebrating, I woke up one morning and there was nothing. No one was ringing to get me to training or get ready to go to England, France, wherever to play league, play footy. I've been playing it since I was 5 years of age. So 30 years in playing a sport that I loved, and all of a sudden one day I came to the realisation that I couldn't play it anymore. Through injury and obviously age. Age is a real bugger. But and I really struggled. I really did struggle. I mean, when you're, and I can only obviously speak in regards to my experiences, and in rugby league, professional rugby league, you have a wonderful support base for everything. Not necessarily mental health, but everything else. I mean, everything gets done for you. Everybody, showers you with, with wonderful comments and so forth. And the reason I played rugby league mostly was the camaraderie, the standing shoulder to shoulder with my teammates, hopefully winning grand finals and winning football games, and all that was just over, and I really struggled with it. I really did. But I was lucky. I had a wonderful wife who supported me through all this, and my children and my family. And of course I had league friends and personal friends that were also very supportive. And I got through it. And I'm really interested to see now that mental health is being spoken about in my code. And in fact, we're starting to experience, and we're experiencing now, players talking to the NRL about mental health as a result of trauma. Rugby league, as you know, is a very physical game, and a lot of us do get head injuries through our careers. I certainly had my fair share, and some have more than most. And I know there are ex-players out there that are struggling with it, and I feel like I want to have a voice on their behalf, because I think it's going to become a massive issue. Pete said about the tsunami. I think that's well and truly coming into play, and we need to start talking about it and try and convince, I think, federal governments to go hand in hand with all the organisations and individuals that are in this industry or in this certain sector to really, get things put in place, protocols and systems in place that will enable us to help these people who are struggling. Because a lot of them, as you know, deal with this sort of thing on their own. And as I said, I was lucky I had my wife and family and that to help me out, but there's a lot of people out there that deal with this on a daily basis, all on their own, and I'd just like to be able to think that us as a collective could get the message out there for them and hopefully help them out today and certainly in the future, because it's going to be an absolute tidal wave if we don't do something about it now. Thank you.